Insane changes for Mercedes W14 in 2023. So we're gonna be going through that and 5 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel hitting that red button down below. The first story is Mercedes are unleashing the potential of the Mercedes W14 with insane changes. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff recently shared how his team is sticking with most of their previous concepts from the 2022 F1 season. Throughout last season and the winter break, the team gradually discovered the issues and shortcomings with the car and tried to fix them. Hence, they are not going to make drastic changes to the car in the 2023 F1 season, but rather, they will keep using most of the concepts from last year. Wolff explained to race fans how the team will maximize the potential of the 2022 Mercedes cars in the coming season, saying, "I think we have understood how we fell back and where the shortcomings are, where we have gaps in understanding or had gaps in understanding, and we're working hard on putting a car on the ground that has addressed all of that. But we will only see when starting testing whether we have unlocked the potential that we believe has always been in the car." The Mercedes team principal is determined to get back at Red Bull and Ferrari in the 2023 F1 season, though he is keeping his hopes realistic. Toto Wolff is well aware of how strong the other two front-running teams will be, saying, "We have no doubt, when you're starting behind by half a second, that it's going to be difficult to catch up to such great organizations like Red Bull or Ferrari. Having said that, we are super determined in doing just that, but we need to set our expectations at a realistic level. If we perform in the way that we hope so, then we'd like to be part in the racing at the very front. I think that would be a starting point, but I think there's a lot of potential that's inside our car, inside the concept, the way we drive the car, that maybe our landing area could be even bigger in the coming months." In addition to Wolff's belief that there is a lot of potential to take away from the W14, Mercedes will also have a bigger advantage than Red Bull. The incumbents will only receive a limited amount of wind testing time due to the slide that followed last season's results, while Red Bull was reduced by 10% due to breaching the sports budget in 2021. The second story is Lewis Hamilton speaks out on F1 rivalry with Max Verstappen. Sir Lewis Hamilton says that he has no problem with rival Max Verstappen as the new Formula One season edges closer. The 7-time world champion has shared many great rivalries throughout his career with the likes of Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, and Nico Rosberg, but none quite like with Verstappen. The Mercedes and Red Bull drivers went wheel to wheel for the 2021 title, going into the season finale at Abu Dhabi level on points, with the Dutchman prevailing in infamous circumstances. That season as a whole was packed with controversial incidents, including collisions between the pair at the British, Italian, and Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. In 2022, the huge gap in pace between the Mercedes W13 and the Red Bull RB18 meant that pair had few opportunities to directly race each other as Verstappen cruised to the title, but nevertheless they still managed to come to blows in Brazil. After that encounter, Hamilton remarked, "You know how it is with Max," later adding that he wouldn't hold your breath, waiting for a clean fight with the 25-year-old. All of this has led to speculation that the two can't stand each other, but the British sporting hero has now claimed that this isn't true at all, remarking that he has nothing but respect for the reigning champion. "People like to talk about there being problems between Max and me," the 38-year-old told Formula One magazine. "Fairy tales. I respect him. He did everything he had to do in 2021, so why should I have a problem with him? He performed and delivered every weekend. Nobody can take that away from him. He is a lot younger, so maybe he has a problem with me, but I am not sure about that, and I actually assume not, although I can't speak for him." Verstappen has naturally been asked about the rivalry before, telling the Daily Mail last year, "I was always taught that you have to respect what people have achieved in sport. I have no problem with what Lewis has achieved. He is one of the best ever. I know it is not only the car he has been driving. That helps. We all know that, but you still have to beat your teammate, and Lewis has done that consistently." Both Hamilton and Verstappen will be aiming to add another title to their collection this year, with the season set to get underway on March 5th in Bahrain. In the meantime, they can look forward to the 2023 car launches next month with Red Bull and Mercedes set to unveil their new machines on February 3rd and February 15th respectively. The third story is Toto Wolff fires warning shot ahead of F1 2023 season. "Do not write us off." Toto Wolff has warned Mercedes rivals not to write them off in 2023 despite a disastrous 2022 Formula One season. 2022 marked the Silver Arrows' worst performance since the 2012 season, and their poorest since Lewis Hamilton has been at the team as an inability to conquer a porpoising issue saw them start the year well off the pace. The team, which won 8 constructors' titles in a row and 7 drivers between 2014 and 2021, gradually improved, securing their only win of the season in Sao Paulo. But a question mark looms over them heading into 2023, with Wolff admittingly previously they are at a disadvantage compared to their rivals. While Mercedes spent time fixing the problems with the W13, Red Bull and Ferrari were allowed to switch their focus to 2023, but Wolff has warned them not to get complacent and told them not to write us off in terms of those in championship contention. "Do not write us off," Wolff told The Times. "In this life, you never stop giving it everything." The 51-year-old Austrian admitted they got the physics wrong when it came to the change in regulations for the 2022 season, with too big a focus on seeking performance in a car that could run very low to the ground. "It's no myth," Wolff said. "We misinterpreted some of the regulations. We put too much emphasis on seeking performance in a car that was supposed to run on the ground very low, but you can't run it so low because it was hitting the ground. So we had to lift it up, which changed things again." It sounds like a trivial explanation, but this is the reality. This kind of error was something that Wolff had been preparing for, wary that Mercedes' dominant streak was not going to last forever. But he said their success had come from the choice to empower the staff, and when that went wrong, he as CEO had to take the blame. "We've been lucky to win 8 constructors' titles in a row, which is unprecedented," Wolff said. "And that is due to the fact that we empower the staff here. If I started to meddle in technical decisions after such a winning streak, that would be odd. So at that stage, I am in observer mode. I try to guide from a human perspective. Is there anything we need in additional resources? Having said that, I am responsible as the CEO and co-owner, and we, as a team, got it wrong." The fourth story is Lewis Hamilton says, "There has never been a driver like me." Lewis Hamilton is aiming to change an unwanted statistic in 2023 as he looks to return to form in F1. The 7-time world champion failed to win a race or take a pole position for the first time since making his F1 debut in 2007 during a difficult 2022 campaign. Hamilton was also beaten by new teammate. It was a year that marked Hamilton's 300th Grand Prix, with the Briton ending the season on 310 starts. Curiously, no driver has ever won a race after reaching the milestone, but Hamilton is determined to change that. "But there has never been a driver like me either," Hamilton quipped when informed of the statistic during an interview with Formula One magazine. Hamilton opened up about his 2022 struggles and not being able to compete for the World Championship after being denied a record-breaking 8th driver's crown in the controversial 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. "We wanted to hit back after 2021. Hamilton said. "That was what our drive came from. But at one point I thought, God, with this car I really can't fight for the title. If I can say anything about last year, it's that as a team we've only become more resilient and determined." The fifth story is George Russell echoes Toto Wolff's Mercedes warning fired at Red Bull and Ferrari. George Russell is confident his Mercedes team will be in a much stronger position when the lights go out for the first race of the upcoming Formula One season. The Silver Arrows had a 2022 season to forget by their own standards. Having won the 8 previous constructors' titles in a row, they found themselves off the pace of their Red Bull and Ferrari rivals in the first few races of last campaign. They never really recovered, though improvements made as the season went on helped them to at least record 1 win in Brazil. Russell was the man who secured that victory, beating teammate Lewis Hamilton to the checkered flag and finishing above the 7-time world champion in the standings. The big question hanging over Mercedes right now is about the upcoming campaign. Will they manage to rectify their car issues with the creation of the W14, or should Silver Arrows fans brace for another year of their team not being as competitive as they would like? In December, Wolff made it clear he is backing his talented colleagues to get the team back on track. "We haven't suddenly taken a stupid pill. Winning the Constructors' Championship last December and then in March being nowhere is very easy. We got the concept wrong," he explained. "In the organization, nobody is shy to say that we've done a bad job here. Very easy. There is no hiding, no seeking for explanation how we ended up there. I mean, all of us are saying we got this very wrong and others got it very right." Russell has echoed that sentiment and has expressed his confidence he has in the team to give him a more competitive car this time around. "They haven't forgotten how to build a fast race car," he said of his colleagues. "We just got it wrong. We got the philosophy wrong. We went down a route which turned out to be the wrong route. Sometimes it takes you a long time to dig yourself out of that hole. Now, I feel we've dug ourselves out of that hole and we're building on top of that." We are a step behind Red Bull and Ferrari, and we've got a lot of catching up to do, but we're definitely going to be in a much stronger position from race 1. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner was surprised to see Mercedes' development pace throughout the 2022 F1 season. Speaking to GP fans, he mentioned Mercedes' rate of development and predicted that the team would hit hard in the 2023 F1 season after gaining a lot of experience last year. He said, "Under the budget cap, it has been surprising just the amount of development. But it has certainly been surprising the rate they have developed, particularly in the second half of the year." Horner further added, "I would expect them to be very strong. They are not going to have the experience of this year. Look, they are a very capable team with very capable drivers, and we are set for another really competitive season of Formula One in 2023. Despite all the teams being on a tight budget due to the cost cap, the Silver Arrows successfully tackled porpoising issues and clawed their way back to podium finishes at the end of the season."